Good morning, traders. Um, just kind of adjusting some charts here. Nope, I don't want that. All right. I don't know what I did here. Hold on. All right. So,
Order filled.
all right. I've been on. I've actually started this video twice. I got interrupted. Um, I came on early this morning because this was a target location in my analysis, and I believe based off of this massive run up from yesterday, coming off this MA and support level, that once again this market is not conceding the downside, and this is all about everybody just taking advantage of the value areas and buying it up. I mean, it's just amazing that any any sell off, small, short, long, are just being abused, and everybody's just all over it. So, all you can do is continue to trade with the trend. And in a bull trend extreme, the pivot is always very significant, and it tells you a lot about the session, especially after a long run up. And I think when I spoke in my analysis yesterday, and it was brief, was that if this in fact is a legitimate move that's going to take out the contract highs, then it shouldn't go any further than the pivot. And on top of the fact, and to confirm that, is the 9MA, and I kind of blown this up a little bit so you can see it better. The 9MA is sitting right underneath it as well. So it's relevant. 98, in fact, is that the low this morning? I don't even know. I mean, like I said, I took this trade. That doesn't make a difference. I took this trade early. This hasn't been the best managed trade for me. Uh, like I said, I'm a location trader, and unfortunately, sessions aren't always going to be direct straight lines up, straight lines down to all your targets. As a trader, you should be a little more consistent with your exits, and they should be two to three handles, a profit against two or three handles of stop loss. It's a one for one ratio. I Because I trade this way, and because of my experience with the levels and price and all my time put into all of this, is that I've seen so much significance from these areas that, and because I'm patient about my locations, I give my trades a little breathing room, and I usually run longer stops from them, and you can just see what I encountered this morning because, I mean, I took it here. These are two blue signals. This is something I work with on this platform. They're generally strong, but like I said, sometimes you get this chop around between 8:30 and 9, and they're just they're swinging size back and forth, and they just took a while for them to really get their legs underneath it. But I think the most significant part of what I'm trying to explain here is look at all the support at this location. So it just confirms the approach that you should take towards trading. So, and I'm not even really paying attention here. So, um, I'm going to now pull my stop up, and that'll be that. If I get punched out, I get punched out down here. I can always
Order submitted.
re-enter. Um, I ran a scale. That's how I trade it. I go scale. I get in. I scale out. Like I said, for the newer trader or the starting trader or just somebody who doesn't want to trade this particular style, it's totally fine. I mean, you can still trade. I mean, even if you trade it as a scalper, okay, and you took this one, and this one was a tight one, you might have sweated this one a little bit. The general rule that based on this platform and how the owner likes to incorporate this with his newer traders is wait for the confirmation. A second bar confirms the turn. All right. Unfortunately, you know, it can get a little testy in the morning. So I say you would have got this at about two even or better if you're lucky. I can't remember how it traded out at that point. Don't ever chase price. You put your order in, and if you get it, you don't get it. But don't ever chase price. That's the number one rule in trading. If you get it, great. If you don't, you move on. So this one would have been a two even entrance with a four even exit, and or actually was it two even? Two even or better, and you can see. Did it trade? Oh, it never. Yeah, you would have got stopped out of this one. That's the problem with that. Um, and then this is right now another reversal, and the same thing probably would have happened. So you can see how the new trader, and that's why I tend to extend my stops. So because I think, trust me, I think there's plenty of rooms around the world, and I think there's just basic philosophy that the ratio should be one for one. So if you're looking for two handles of profit, you should have a two handle stop. And I just think sometimes the bigs could fish that out. They know it, and this is why you get all these swings because they're shaking people out. People are getting in. That's a reversal long right there. Two even. This one would have paid barely, okay, but it's okay because that's your approach. That's your approach, and then you move on. You would have not taken this short. You just would have taken this. No pivot was developed. It's just a lower short, lower turn. And here's another reversal. Like I said, it all depends on how you approach your trading. I mean, you're in a bull trend, and you obviously want to trade with the trend. So you're looking for the opportunity to get long from these locations because you could just see over and over it continues to prove the importance of them. They're not stopping there because it's just a cute little area with a nice little line. It's significant, and all the trading is paying attention to that all the way around the board. And trust me, the bigs are as well. So this one would have been another. You could see this trade would have been popping in the same way three times in a row. So that's two even or better. That would have paid out, and then it so rocked out. You could see it kept holding 05 or something, and that was an early tight trend that you see right there. And then you can see it took a while for them to get out. Or at the MAs, and this is probably going to hopefully change the session to a more positive tone. Don't forget, we're still filling a gap to 14, which was settlement from yesterday's monster run up somewhere in here. I think was a settlement. So we've been under par for a while most of the morning, and this once again, much like yesterday, where it sold off and it came all the way back to settlement and then beyond. And that's what you're going to get in a bull trend extreme. So it's taking advantage of the extreme locations. That's what it's about, you know, and taking advantage of it. So, unfortunately, when you're trading at a bull trend extreme, sometimes they put you in a situation. Here's another possible breakout. This would be another opportunity. Uh, you know, that's the difference between my style of trading and a general scalp approach towards it. You would have taken three trades, and you would have made money on two of them and stopped out on one. If you go the basic rule of thumb, you know, obviously I'm way more patient. Wasn't my best management, but I don't like getting in and out a lot. I don't like incurring a lot of commissions. So I'm going to let it come back, and sometimes I paid a price for it. But that's just the way I trade. And I think what's more important, even with the shop fest, is the significance of the location and how, despite all the bounces that came into it, they could have busted. They would have busted, and they're protecting that location for now. So we're just going to see what happens here. So now you can see we're fighting this MA right here at 07.5. Got another one right here at 10. I think if you start cooking, it'll probably eventually blow up to settlement of 14 and maybe make a run for the contract ties. Like, look at how this played out yesterday. So so this is no, that's not the morning. Let me get the morning bell price here. Um, where are you? 8:30, right there, somewhere come on, come on, come on. Okay, so here's the opening yesterday, and right out of the gate, you can see they were below the MAs, and they slammed them, and they slammed them straight to all the support, and then it was game on from down here, and the rebuild, and then right here at about 10:30, right after Europe closed, they just jammed them. I don't know what came out. This is a huge run up right there, 99 to 81. That was a 20 handle run, 200 Dow point move. So I don't know what popped at that point. I don't run news. I don't like I don't like being influenced too much by the talking heads. I usually, if I have it on, it's usually on mute. I just don't need to hear it. There's too many opinions out there. And then, it's the same thing. So, got above the moving averages and price just accelerated. And you can see overnight it just meandered around it. They didn't know what to do with it. And now we're stalling at it. So that's how you pay attention to moving averages. Gonna have to see if this thing holds or rolls. This probably shouldn't go any further than '04, but we'll just have to see. Momentum is faded completely. I don't have a pivot short here to get short. I would never take it. Uh, if a lower pivot high was established, I might have considered and bailed out, but I'm going to let it play out because basically it's the momentum, and I'll take a look at the Dow because it helps me in my position. If this thing can build and get back up to their daily pivot, it could be back to game on to the upside. You can see here that this is what. Let me just show you something about the charts and why I've done this over the last so many years. Okay, this is what I've done when I joined this company. Is I spent time with these charts, and these are basic. They're the same market, but all I've done was slow down the price. Is what I've done. Okay, you can see it here how this is rolling right there, but yet it hasn't rolled here. It's kind of in a little chop zone right there, and now they're selling. Now they're breaking. This should hold and then double bottom back out, but nothing's written in stone. They can just ram right through it. So we'll just have to wait and see. And this is part of what the trading my approach is. I'm anticipating patterns. I've seen them so many times. I'm not always right, but I understand it fairly well, and I respect it, and I trade accordingly. This thing is trying to figure it out right here, guys. So I'll stay on for a few more minutes. I just wanted, once again, all my live trades that I'm presenting are only coming out when I find a location that works into my game plan. That's how my approach is every day. I don't just take any trade or every trade. It's about what I want from where I want it, and that's it. Trust me, I've been on this for 3, 4 hours at a time and not even made a trade. And it's this is my style. I just don't need the trader to trade it, and it's just a good approach towards trading. It'll it's important to be patient. So right now, watching my position kind of deteriorate, and we'll just have to see how it plays out. Right here, this double bottom has to hold, or it's probably going to roll down one more time. So this is you're just seeing it, and this is what I've done with all these charts that you're seeing on the screen. They're just various speeds. This one right here is a scalping for the ES. It's what they call a 2-1 chart. You can see I run a 6-1. I keep slowing it down. The further you go out, the slower you go out. And the reason I do this is that it takes out the noise, and I'm going to explain that. Is that if in fact, based on what I'm seeing, if this price point holds and rebuilds based on what I'm seeing with this blue ribbon, we should accelerate one more time to the upside. But will it? I don't know. This is what's happening right here. It's trying to figure this out. It's at a this right here on a Dow chart really doesn't look good in terms of the upside, but you can see they're fighting it right now. I just don't know what they're going to do. They could break down one more time really hard and roll back to the downside. So, uh, and the reason the Dow, I think here is like, and this is how you just can really break it down. Okay, You're wondering, well, why are we stalling? Well, take a look. I mean, a Dow right now is sitting at this lower MA under 15 chart. The same chart you're looking at right here. This is the 15, and this is the stall right here. They're trying to figure out, are they going to try to make a run back to the upside, or are they going to roll back out to the downside? It's looking pretty bearish right here, but they're let them figure it out. You don't want to over anticipate, but you do. If you look at all the charts, you're going to have a better idea. That's why I like using the Dow. It helps. They work. They run together. I pull up a Nasdaq chart. The Nasdaq flies. It's a little thinner, a little liquid, less liquid. It moves a lot more. Plays out well, but you really have to move your stops out. And if I'm trading those markets, I like to only trade from the super extremes because of how the higher probabilities. Some of that inside stuff can just get really squirrely. Like the oil just could fly all over the board. Somebody tried to get me involved in that a while ago, years ago, and I just, I traded it, and a couple positions of mine where it was so thin that my stops wouldn't even get hit. They just go right through it, and you're basically you're no man's land, So it gets a little more difficult with the stop losses because if you're running a stop limit and there's not if you're long and there's not a bid to get you out of your long on a sell off, it's if you go stop market, you're in so much trouble because it'll just blow right through everything until there's an available bid for you to get out of it. In the same way, if you're long and it or you're short and it runs to the upside and you have a buy stop, if there's not an offer there and you like stop market, you're going to get hit at the next available offer, and that could be 20 points from where you originally had your stop. So, you know, different strokes for different folks. So that's basically my sum up on everything. So you can see this little battle going on right here, and it's buying time, and you can see the Dow is trying to hold, but it can't get going. They are trying. It looks like they're trying to squeeze people to the short side in the Dow, and this is what I talk about with the ribbon with this quick plop trading platform. This is the overlying momentum of the market still pushing, and generally when this ribbon is wide like that, you can see it will commit or it will not be committed to the upside until it gets over this 34 855 856. Will another bar change, and you can just see the struggle that's going on right now. But the ES is kind of stuck, so I don't know. I just don't know. Like I said, I'm gonna play this out. If I get punched out of this, I'll come back on. It looks like, and they rolled. They basically rolled, and I saw this developing right here. This is telling me this is going down. I knew it, and I probably should have just bailed out of the position. It, I gave the market too much credit, so I'm just gonna let it play out. And this is just bad management by me, and I'm owning up to it. But that's how I trade. I'm a little more patient with my positions. I'm trying to take in everything as I can as a whole to help me through it. And trust me, it works both ways. And just sometimes it just doesn't. It doesn't play out exactly what I want. And this is the nature of trading. It's not a perfect science, but I find a lot of consistency with trading from these areas. The end result always varies, and sometimes you just get real choppy trade and choppy movement. Although it could be a straight, it could eventually go higher. It chops its way through it, and you can see it. This all started with a failure, and the rule of thumb when all the pressure like this has been kept to the downside and it challenges the first challenge to the MA is usually a sign. So be honest with you, this would have been or should have been a short position right there, right after this, right there, right this one right there. The only reason I didn't call it out because I'm not, I, I'm not, I, because I think the market is strong that it's going to hold. right there, and you can see this challenge. You saw the stall around four even, which kind of kept me in it because I thought we might double from here, and then this thing would take off again. But the MA turned out to be more than this market could handle for this early morning session. And I probably should have looked at this too. Momentum. This was in favor to the downside. Okay, so it all depends on your approach. But these are trades I don't like to take. I don't like to call these out for my newer traders because of the overall strength of the market and the possibility of this thing ramming you back to the upside. They're better when their turns are below. So right here, I don't know if this is going to provide a higher pivot low, but yeah, you can see it's trying to maybe turn up, but this market is struggling this morning, so it's probably going to chase me out, and then I'll reassess. But if it does, and another long opportunity presents itself down here, I'm going to take it, and that's what trading's about. You're not all, you're going to have losers when you trade, and you have to be strong enough to withstand it, and don't let it discourage your approach to trading. You got to get back on the horse, and you just got to keep trying. And this is turning out to be a key short, another follow through. So this is just a matter of time for me on this position. So I'm going to let it play out. I think this is probably going to punch me out. So I'm going to take a break. I just wanted to get on early just so you can see the approach towards my trading, towards the locations, why I'm taking it, what I'm looking at that's keeping me in my positions, and how and why the market is turning at certain spots. And this is just a little bit of the homework that as a trader you want to put in. It's all there's way to it. It's just I talk about this consistently and continuously, better yet. The market just continuously repeats patterns, and you can see all this resistance right here. That's where that uh, 18MA is, and you can see this should be support, but we don't know. It might come back down one more time to it, and if it does, and you get a reversal turn from that, you got to be all over it. So I'm going to take a break. I just wanted to let you guys see the early morning session. So uh, either way, it was successful, and that's all that's important. Okay, and like I said, I managed really poorly, but it's all a discretionary thing to each trader. You know. So I'll see you soon. I'm gonna get stopped out.